Hello everyone, I will be explaining to you why all religions come from Africa. The date today is Thursday, August 15th, 2013. So it basically goes like this. Buddhism, which is obviously, over 500 years older than Christianity, it comes from an Indian guy whose people were in India, and before that they were in North Africa. Basically, it goes like this. They were in they were in Sudan specifically, and the ancient religions from the Nubian people, which was passed down to them from basically Homo erectus, who had tools. You have to understand that these tools signify that they were digging for things, they were building things, and one of the earliest things that they would build would be religious monuments. Now, a lot of people might cite that there's not enough evidence for the conclusion that I've come to, but really it's common sense. Okay, common sense, quick search will show you that the history of Buddhism came from an Indian guy who's described as dark-skinned. And this dark-skinned Indian man, we had the Indus Valley Empire, the Harappan Empire, and if you trace the migrations of people like I have, you'll notice that his people were the Dravidian people who came from North Africa. And Sudan and Ethiopia is where you find a lot of their people today. And if you trace the etymology of the words, the Sanskrit and the different Indian art and culture and food and words, you understand that it's very obvious that this is what happened. And you can even see the similarities in the people. So, religion comes from an ancient source which is in North Africa. Now, Babylon, as an empire, isn't that old. Egypt goes back 1,500 years plus before Babylon, if you go by when the empire started in the encyclopedia. So this idea that the Babylonians taught the Egyptians, then it went down from there, is false. Babylon was part of the Egyptian empire at one point as well, and vice versa. Now, if you truly trace the history of religions, you'll find that Menzies I didn't come up with his own religion. There was pre-dynastic kings, and before that you have the statues. And the statues I've lined up in my past videos show that the Nubians and the sub-Saharan African gods and goddesses resemble those of the Egyptians, who I always argue were black people. The ancient Egyptians were black. They were closely related to the Nubians, and some claims have them coming from Tanzania, but where they started from isn't as relevant as the people and the culture, and you can see it passed down incrementally. So it's basically common sense will bring you to the conclusion that history of religion comes from Africa. Now, let me give you a little background information about myself. I personally am a software engineer as far as what I studied in college, and right now I'm currently working on finishing my latest degree. And what I've done with history and religion and secret societies, which started a lot of these religions, because you'll see that Masons use tools. Tools are symbolic of something happening. It's like giving you a snapshot into the past. It's evidence, it's a clue, and it shows you that the history of these religions had to do with building ceremonial monuments, ceremonial burials, etc. So when people started burying people, and people started digging for things and building structures and building monuments, it goes way, way back. So if you're going to trace the roots of something, the source of something, it starts in North Africa. And it's pretty much common sense, really. If you really, were up to date with what's going on, you would come to the conclusion quickly that that's how it's got to be, because mankind started in North Africa in the first place. So anyway, as far as my history research, I used to spend hours every day, reading articles, doing research into Egypt and secret societies and the different religions, reading the Quran, debating people in different chat rooms, exchanging ideas in forums, different forums, and you know, what I really found is that sitting in for a lot of college classes on, you know, African American history, African American studies, world history. You know, I've taken many college history classes, and you know, a lot of them I dropped out halfway because I was bored. But I was exposed to a lot of interesting stuff, and I got to really look into what I wanted to learn and kind of not really care too much about the rest, because I was truly trying to figure out the source of knowledge and what's going on today based on what the secret societies have been doing all through history. And you know, I think one of the things that they held secret was that the knowledge comes from Africa. In fact, you know, I'm at the point where it's not that I think, it's I know. You know, back in 2009, in August, when I made my Illuminati series, I had said the same thing, is that, you know, that we're still waiting for an apology, you know, from the white elite who stole our history and lied about the source of it and made us look bad as a result of their lies, and their lies have empowered their people while oppressing mine. So, you know, I made this video really to apologize for some of my videos where I was harsher on women. Some videos I said women deserve bad things to happen to them, things along these lines. And then, you know, I made videos later that retracted them. But unless you watch the whole series, you don't see that there's good intentions. You know, if you just watch one random video, you're going to come off with the wrong impression. So you know, you have to get the right idea, that you understand where I'm coming from and what I'm saying. You have to watch the whole series. But if you don't watch anything but this video, you know, I challenge you to prove me wrong about anything I'm saying. You know, the oldest style of tools was found in the Nubian style, and they found them in the oldest style of tools that were from Homo sapiens were found in the Nubian style, and they found them in Saudi Arabia. So if you look at the history and where these people were digging and where they come from and how they branched out, it's very apparent and very self-evident, obvious. You know, you'd have to be a complete fool to miss it. The history of religion and the source of religion and the source of these ideas and monotheism and polytheism all comes from Africa, period. And it doesn't take a genius to figure out that these were dark-skinned people. Now, does that make me come to the conclusion that black people are superior or anything like that? No. But this is the facts, okay? You can take the facts how you want. You can run with it. You can try to rebuke them. You can try to refute them. You can try to rebuke me. But, you know, the facts are the facts. And there hasn't been enough evidence to point to anything else other than this is the case. So I start the history of religion with Homo erectus, because I believe that this culture passed down from one species, you know, to another. But I start the history of religion with man, with the Nubian people, because that's what the archaeological evidence suggests. Thank you.